Joan Walsh is with Salon, and Republican strategist Ed Rogers was an aide to the first President Bush. Let's take a look at some things here now. I want to take a look at, here's John McCain speaking today. Let's catch up with the campaign today.
He has even questioned my truthfulness. And let me reply in the plainest terms I know. I don't need lessons about telling the truth to the American people. And were I ever to need any improvement in that regard, I probably wouldn't seek advice from a Chicago politician.
I'm not sure exactly what that means. Here's Barack Obama today and the anger of his opponent, the opponent is creating against him out there in the field.
Nothing's easier than riling up a crowd by stoking anger and division. But that's not what we need right now in the United States. The times are too serious. The challenges are too great. The American people aren't looking for someone who can divide this country. They're looking for somebody who will lead this country.
Okay, that's the latest Joan Walsh. You've been watching this all week. What do you make of this? He trashes him as for being from Chicago, I guess is the point of that one. And then it continues the thematic of this week, which is he's a bad guy. He's a strange character. We don't know who he is. He may be involved with terrorists. He may be involved with, well, he's got a middle name like Hussein. That seems to be popping up on the road this week. And they're also going into his contributors list with John McCain himself saying, hey, you got some money from the Palestinian territories. Let's look at this guy. What's it all about?
They're really trying to link him to domestic terrorists, to foreign terrorists, to really make the terrorist connection, which is disgusting, that there's no reason to think that those connections are really there. He's a mainstream Democrat. We know plenty about him. But, you know, I think the interesting thing, Chris, is that, first of all, this is creating a climate of hate. And even today, once again today, someone yelled traitor. And leading Republicans and McCain supporters are starting to speak out, God bless them. The former governor of Michigan, William Milliken, endorsed him and said, I'm not sure, I'm backing away from him a little bit. This isn't the John McCain I know. I want him to tone down these tactics. Frank Schaefer, who endorsed him in 2000, said he's creating a lynch mob mentality. So good Republicans are starting to speak up about this and say, stop it. But McCain, I really think the next time somebody says traitor, really needs to say, excuse me, my friends. Barack Obama is a man I disagree with on taxes and on Iraq, but he's not a traitor and he's not a terrorist. I will not stand for these hateful remarks. I'm waiting for that, and I'm afraid I'm going to be waiting for a long time.
Ed Rogers, what do you think of the tenor of the campaign right now, on the Republican side?
Both campaigns could run an apology a day. And the McCain campaign doesn't have to stress or strain, but the campaign does need to focus on Obama, who he is and what he believes.
What do you mean by who he is?
Who he is.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, I'll answer the question. He is an unaccomplished state legislator that has written 2 books about himself as a cliche, classic liberal on every matter that's ever come up. And so what about him? His associations are fair game. His record is fair game. And the notion that he can solve our problems based on his experience and what we know about his character is ludicrous.
What's the message of that? There's a thematic this week. What is it? It's not just we don't know about him. What are they suggesting about him?
Everything that's easy to do in Washington has been done. We need somebody that's proven they can do hard things. Obama's never done one hard thing in his life.
That's a good argument. I don't hear that argument from them.
That's not what they're saying.
What your party is doing is very positively. Well, let's go.
People that show up at events.
No. Let's take a look at these. Let's look at
Obama's feelings.
No, it's not about that. It may be suggestive of the kind of atmosphere that's being stirred up out there. When you have the vice presidential nominee going after this terrorist association, when you have the Republican...
It was a terrorist association.
What do you mean?
Ayers is a terrorist. He had an association with him.
And what was his association with him?
The proximity of the man. The man supported
what was his
him. They were on boards
together. He worked on educational issues. 26 years later.
What defines an association? They had every single association there is, from professional to personal. It's fair game.
That's not
true. It shouldn't be the only thing, and the McCain campaign can wear it out.
They have worn it out.
Associations are fair game.
Okay,
Reverend Wright is fair game.
You know as much about politics as I do. You see, and you don't see. I want to ask you if you see any connection between the drumbeat on this connection with this this guy worked on school board issues basically back in the 90s, who had an involvement with terrorism or bombing back in the 60s. Okay, 30 years difference
and
here.
He refreshed it by saying he didn't do enough.
Right. Not he. Ayers did.
Yeah.
Okay. That connection. And then we see this. Watch this. And you don't see a connection here. Here are two moments this week where local officials on the platform introducing the running mates said the following.
On November 4th, let's leave Barack Hussein Obama wondering what happened.
Think about how you'll feel on November 5th if you wake up in the morning and you see the news that Barack Hussein Obama is the president-elect of the United States of America.
Okay, now you don't see any connection between that and the fact that they're trying to prove a connection with overseas Arab money, that they're trying to prove a connection with, quote, terrorists, which most people today think of 9/11 terrorists. They don't think of weathermen back in the 60s, okay? A clever use of the word terrorist, a combination of this, and you don't see the fact that I wrote this in my little notebook I keep to myself last Saturday morning when I read about what Palin was pushing. I said the next step will be use of the term Hussein. And what do you know on Monday? They pushed Hussein. I could see it coming. You say that's an accident.
Okay, McCain has spoken to that. That is a distraction for his campaign. Everybody should behave and not use that, but it hurts McCain. It doesn't help.
What about the use of the word traitor, terrorist? They're screaming this out at rallies.
Everybody ought to have good manners at McCain rallies.
You deny they're stirring it up.
It's a distraction. It is a net minus.
But Ed, why doesn't
be what McCain stirring up hatred to the point we're hearing words like Joan just mentioned, somebody yelling traitor. We're hearing people yell out socialism. The language is but the language is pretty virulent out there, and it reminds me of the 60s.
It is virulent.
We'll see. For people with bad manners.
Let's get more evidence here. Ed, you're in the box tonight. Let's take a look at what McCain said on Monday and listen to the reaction from the crowd. Listen to the way he relates to the crowd.
Good.
The way he stirs
Play it again.
Well, we haven't played it yet.
Oh, we'll play.
What does he plan for America? In short, who is the real Barack Obama?
Nice.
And here's Governor Palin throughout the week, same kind of insidious question. Who is this guy? Who is he?
Fair question.
What's it about? Okay. It isn't about whether he's a liberal. It's not about that he comes from Chicago and he's involved in not a long political career. It suggests something. Here's what Governor Palin's been saying all week.
Wait a minute. He didn't know a few months ago that he had launched his political career in the living room of a domestic terrorist? The question comes down to, he didn't know that he had launched his career in the living room of a domestic terrorist? He didn't know that until he did know? And then he continued to be in any way associated with that person? And this is all about patterns, and I'm going to talk about the patterns. And, I'm sure that some will say, geez, they're getting kind of negative. No, it's not negativity. It's truthfulness.
Well, he's involved on school board issues with a guy who was awarded the title of Chicagoan of the Year, a guy who's been very active. Well, the people of Chicago, I assume. Let's take a look at one of the. Well, Richie Daley is one of the most conservative people I know. Counts him as a good citizen of that city. Here's one of the questioners at Thursday's McCain-Palin event. This is what's coming out of the crowd now after this stimulus has been going on here. It's unbelievable. I haven't seen this since the 60s.
I'm here. It's the socialists taking over our country. I think it's so important in today's country what we're really missing and what's going on. When you have Obama, Pelosi, and the rest of the hooligans up there going to run this country, we got to have our head examined. It's time that you two are representing us and we are men.
This stuff is getting hot. It's getting hotter. I predict next weekend it'll be even hotter. I believe that John McCain and Sarah Palin and the geniuses behind him, like Steve Schmidt, are turning on this crowd heat as loud as they can because they want cultural heat because they can't win the economic war.
Well, just for the record,
you don't agree?
I didn't know
you're laughing.
I said, but look, I am
hooligans, socialism, everything else you can throw at them.
Against offsides penalties at Redskins games as well, and this happens in politics. So what? Hey, Obama hecklers show up at McCain rallies.
Okay.
Come on, so what? Does it hurt his feelings?
And you love it.
Do we have to cater to him that
you know
much?
What I do? I think it creates a dangerous environment in this country.
It's a distraction for McCain.
I really do.
It's not a net plus for McCain. It's not helping McCain.
David Gergen said it last night.
Everybody should be quiet, and let's put this focus on Obama.
Okay, we'll see.
And this is not help. That doesn't help.
There's an anger and a demonization. There's an anger and a demonization that leads to a climate of violence, and more people are saying it. Mainstream people and Republican people.
Who said violence?
David Gergen said it last. David Gergen said it last night.
You said it tonight.
Well,
I didn't say violence.
He said
violence.
it.
No, well, she said it.
I said it, and he said it last night.
You said
more people are saying it. What? I'm not supposed to say. Yes, I am actually.
He's a supporter.
David Gergen is a mainstream figure, and he was brave enough to say that.
Because I sense we are.
That's why this is a
Joan, I completely agree with you. Ed Rogers, you know better.